Well, hello and welcome everyone to June's Partner Spotlight. I'm excited to introduce Chris Chavez. Chris is an amazing partner with us. He's got some great stories that we were just talking about right before we went live. So, Chris, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So, Chris, before we get into the nitty-gritty of everything, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into the credit restoration industry?
I've been doing it probably about 8 to 10 years just for friends and family on the side. And what started me to get into it was having bad credit myself in my 20s. I took out loans and vehicles. I've had a couple of repossessions in my time, and I just got fed up and I got tired of people getting taken advantage with bad credit. I was the person paying 25% interest on a vehicle, 18% on loans, etc.
Wow.
And I kind of did my research a lot of the credit board stuff. I did so much research on how to remove stuff. And I go, you know what? I did it for friends and family. Why don't I start a business doing it? Then I got my LLC and I got my city tax license and I got my website. And that's what all started it. And um, I had a big following on Facebook and kind of like throwing jokes and memes and stuff. And that alone, I've already I don't want to say I cheated because I had a big following already, but I had a big following that I took advantage of with the credit repair. And it brought in so many people. And right now, it's going really well for me right now. Going really well for me.
So, when you said you had a big following, how did you build up that following to begin with? Like, why
Just
were so many people following you?
because of like the stupid things that I would post on Facebook, like the
Just
jokes
like
and
funny
whatnot.
stuff.
That and you know what? I used to
Right.
promote for the nightclub scene out here. And
Okay, so
before
you
that,
network with a lot of people.
yeah, I know a lot of people in Arizona. And then
Hmm.
before that, I would is before the teenage years, I was in the house party scene. I actually had I don't know how old you are, but do you remember pagers back in the day, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I would have a voicemail that people would literally call. We used to be in a party crew, and people would call my voicemail to find out where the house parties were. This was before internet was around, before cell phones were around, and I kind of got known that way. And it kind of just went up from there, to be honest with you.
Okay, so you had a large following, a lot
Mhm.
of people that you had from the past and things like
Older
that. So when you
people, their kids, and with the jokes and
awesome.
whatnot. Yeah, so kind of multiple generations.
And so what I think there's a really great lesson here because you build the following just over time and if you go to enough networking events you'll find people like whenever I go out right now, right, and I meet new people, I
Mhm.
don't even ask them for their cell phone number anymore or anything like that because if I just put them in my phone I'll probably forget their name later
Right.
on, but I'll be like, hey, do you have an Instagram or do you have a Facebook? And that way now I have them on Instagram, on Facebook, and I can kind of like stay in touch without having to be like, hey, how are you? What are you doing via text? I can see what they're doing. They can see what I'm doing. We can comment on each other's stuff. And I've built up a large following, that way as well. So
Yeah.
I think the lesson is like when you network, stay in touch with people. And now with social media, it's so easy to do. But then when you're being active on social media, provide content that is not always just business related, that's fun, that people would get a kick out of. And then you could like it's kind of like Gary Vaynerchuk. He says like jab, jab, punch, I believe it is. It's like the two jabs are like your two jokes, and then like the next one is like your actual, business content that you would post. And maybe
Right.
the content was the results that you got for yourself, and then maybe the results you got for a friend. And then the people would be like, hey, I want that too. And I'm sure they would message you privately and be like, hey, can we talk? Right.
And another thing that I wanted to say about that is, believe it or not, Credit Caine has spent $0 in marketing.
Wow.
$0 right now. I haven't spent not a dollar on marketing. I don't post the sponsored ads, any of that. Not saying that I won't, because I told you I'm kind of in the house buying process right now myself. But once I get everything together and I want to get an office eventually and hire employees under me, then when I become so overwhelmed that I can't do the work because of marketing, that's when I'll hire more employees.
Right. So you've got a pretty interesting story. I know right before we went live, we were talking about how you're in the house buying process and you're still holding down a full-time job. Can you talk
Yes.
to us a little bit about that?
So I work for, I won't mention the company name, but I work for a voice over IP company. We specialize in exchange. We specialize in hosted products like voice over IP phones, email, in the cloud. And I've been there almost, it'll be 7 years in December. And I'm what's called an implementation specialist there. So, when you call a phone number and you get like an auto attendant, press one for this, press two for that. That's what I do. That's what I set up. And I do that full time. I do that 7 to 3:30, Monday through Friday, while still doing credit repair after work. It can get overwhelming at times, but I manage to do it while being a single father at the same time.
Yeah, I know a lot of our partners, they're starting out, so they'll have a full-time job right now, and it's always kind of a question. It's like, well, when do you quit? When do you go full-time into your business? And what would you say to those points?
I would say hold on to your full time job as long as you can and make sure you have that residual coming in. And even if you do have that residual coming in, I would venture into other things as well. Stock market, crypto, even going like one of my friends, he makes tacos, right? I go, dude, let's open up a taco truck. I'll buy the taco truck. You know what I mean? And
You
because
buy it, he works it.
yeah, now you have other avenues of income coming in. Not saying that credit repair is going to fail, but you have other, avenues of income coming in. I still want to open up a barbershop one of these days. There's just different ideas that I have, going around that I still want to do.
So you
Um,
mentioned, oh, sorry, go ahead.
and then I wanted to say too that I want to eventually, before all this, I want to start doing credit education classes for teenagers because they stopped doing home economics in high school back in the 80s and 90s where they did teach you about credit cards and checking accounts and interest rates. They don't do that anymore. And that's why a lot of people are failing because their parents are not teaching them about credit. Like a lot of people don't know you can add your kid as young. I think on some certain credit cards like Amex, you can add them as young as 13 to an authorized user, where other credit cards are 16. So by the time they're 18 years old, they're going to have over a 700 credit score just by putting them as an authorized user. Why not give them an extra bump? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, my mom has done that for me in the past too. So by the time
you're
I was
lucky.
18, I had really
You
good
had
credit.
great credit. Yeah. See, my parents didn't do that because my dad, to this day, my dad is so old school. He doesn't have a debit card. He does not have a debit card and he pays strictly in cash.
Oh, wow.
And he has good credit,
Simple.
believe it or not. He's owned like 4 houses, but that's him. You know what I mean? I'm super electronic. I hate cash.
So when you first started your business, what were some of the main challenges that you faced and had to overcome?
As
Just anything that just made it like difficult to get going and get started, or any advice that you want to give to somebody that's starting out and it's like, hey, this might be something that you encountered. This is how I handled it.
I would say beginning, like I would say do everything legit. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, a lot of people take Zelle or they take Cash App or they take PayPal. It's all cool and all, but getting integrated on your website, taking payments is the most seamless thing that you can think of. I mean, somebody can type in their credit card and within 2 days you get that money in the bank. Where if you use like Zelle or Cash App, they have terms and conditions where you can't even do credit repair. So it's it's bad if you do that because you don't want your PayPal account getting shut down, any of that stuff. My recommendation is if you if you're doing credit repair, I hope you have good credit. Fix your credit because in order to get a merchant account, you have to have good credit. So get a merchant account, do your research. I won't mention any names, but do your research on the fees because they rape us credit repair companies because we are considered high risk. And high risk companies pay a lot of money for credit repair. I just recently switched from one company to another, and I'm pretty happy with them right now. Also, get a business checking account. It's a lot easier to write off your expenses with an LLC. Start off with an LLC first. Once you grow, you're going to probably want to go to an S corp so you don't have to pay the self-employment tax. Get a CPA, somebody that can help you with all your taxes. A professional CPA will take care of you. And that's pretty much that I have to say about getting started. I mean, just be legit as much as you can. Get your tax license. Make sure you're, you know, an LLC in Arizona. I don't know where everybody is, but in Arizona it costs like $80. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow, that's great.
Costs like $40. It's cheap to start a business. People don't understand how cheap it is to start a business. And if your business is successful, you're gonna make a killing on a lot more money than a 9-to-5. You know.
Yep. So, Chris, you had mentioned that communication has been key to growing your business. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked at a lot of call centers in the past, and you know, growing up, early 20s, mid 20s, and the biggest thing, I worked for a cell phone carrier, and their biggest thing was churn rate. What can we do to keep the churn or turnover rate low as possible? What can we do to keep from, you know, customers canceling and whatnot? And the biggest thing is communication. You know, you want to always answer the phone. You always want to return calls. When I mean communication is key, when you pull credit, like a refresh, I don't know about like, I use Credit Repair Cloud, but I don't know how the other companies do it. But when it integrates with Smart Credit, it shoots you out a PDF and it'll tell you what got deleted. Customers love that monthly update. You send them that PDF, they open it, and then I put like a little message in there. Hey, so and so, we got, you know, 6 items deleted for you this month. Let's keep it going. And then I'll attach the PDF. They'll reply back, super happy. You got a happy customer. You get more residual the next month, and they get results. One thing that I like to do that some customers don't do is, or companies don't do, is if nothing comes off, I'm going to waive your next month of service. I'm not going to keep billing you if nothing comes off, because I just feel that's not right. You know, that's just me though.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I have not heard that one yet, so that's great.
Yeah, people say I'm losing money like that, but you know what? It reduces churn. Why am I going to keep charging somebody like the big credit repair companies out there that are all advertising on TV? I'm not going to mention their names, but they keep charging people, and they just take people's money without showing any results, you know.
So then if nothing gets deleted, you waive the next month's fee, you're still working, and then when something gets deleted, now the next month they do have to get back on and start paying. And then
Exactly.
how long on average does it take from the point where the client starts to the time where they're usually done with the service?
It depends how many items they have. I mean, I've had a customer that was with me for a month, literally a month. There are some customers that have been with me as long as 4 or 5 months. You know, it just all depends how many items they have. I do a couple of specials too that attracts customers, where pay me 2 months up front of service. So we charge $99.99 a month. Pay me $200 flat. I'll give you a 3rd month free. It brought in a lot of money when that first started. I encourage anybody to do specials like that. If you can afford to take the hit for a month, do it. It's lucrative.
So Chris, besides the posts that you've done on social media, are you doing anything else marketing wise, or are you like networking, or like how else are you getting clients?
I mean, I got my business cards. I got my business cards and whatnot, and you know, I'll hand them out and stuff. I know a lot of barbershops out here, so I'll leave them in the barbershops. That's really it. Just word of mouth. Word of mouth is huge. I always get text messages on my cell phone of, hey, I was referred to you from this person, or how did you hear about us? That's the biggest thing. How did you hear about us? And I have a referral program where if somebody says, hey, so-and-so, referred me over to you. Okay, cool. I'll contact that person and I will shoot them like $40 in either a gift card or cash, you know, as a referral. So people want to refer, you get paid for it.
Yeah, that's effective. I think really having some sort of referral strategy in place is key, and making sure that your customers know about it too. And I don't know how you do it, but maybe, like, but when they're first signing on, be like, hey, when you refer us anyone after you're happy, here's what we offer. And then maybe have that even too, like in the communications, the emails, that you have a referral program, just so that you're not telling them about it all the time, but that they're being reminded. I think
Right.
that's really powerful too.
Definitely. Definitely.
So,
You wanted
Chris,
to talk about the sponsored code thing,
I
right?
was just gonna, yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna ask you, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you're using Smart Credit and how you changed from being on the sponsoring side of things to what you're
I have
doing
a
now?
hate and love relationship with sponsor codes, let me tell you. So sponsor codes are cool and all, and I know a lot of people, they want the convenience and they want to have one bill for the client. I did sponsor codes in the beginning. I'm like, you know what? It's going to be easy. They only can pay one bill. They don't have to pay a separate company. But and then you kind of, if you get your clientele so big, and let's say one person cancels, well, when that one person cancels, if you don't go on the back end and cancel that smart credit account, you're stuck paying the bill. And let's say that you forget to cancel them for 2 or 3 months. Well, you just paid 3 months of their service and they're not even your client. So I was paying smart credit, I want to say 2,000 to 2,300 a month in sponsorship codes. And I said, I'm not doing it anymore. So what I did is, for my existing clients, I lowered their bill by $25 a month, and I told them they're gonna have to pay for their own smart credit. So what we do now is it's $1 the first month and $24.95 each additional month for the smart credit. I know we can set our own prices or whatnot, so I only make like $10, some $10 or $13 per client. Um, New clients are still 99 plus 20 or the dollar, and then $24.95 each additional month. But all my old ones that were on the sponsor code canceled all sponsors and lowered their bill. I got
Yeah,
rid
and
of all of them. Yeah.
just to put it into perspective for those of you watching that might not know what we're talking about. So when you are a co-brand plus partner, you have the ability to either sponsor your clients in, which means you pay for their fee. And the idea is that you built that fee into what you're charging. And then, or the other thing is, you just have your clients pay for it, and you can, set your own pricing. Chris, you chose $24.95. Some people choose $19.95. Some people $29.
Mhm.
There's a wholesale fee that you pay us, and then anything above that, that's basically your commission. So there's really two ways that you can do the co-brand program, and it really depends on how you structure your business and how you want to do it. Chris, you tried both. You saw that just having your clients pay for it and just getting the commission check every month is much easier for you, because then you don't have to worry about canceling the people that are no longer your clients, because if you don't cancel it, you're right, you are responsible for their monthly fees. So you
Right.
really either have to be on top of it or have somebody at your company that's on top of it.
And I went from paying smart credit every month to smart credit paying me every month.
There you
So
go.
it's it's a blessing. I gotta tell you, it's definitely a blessing. So do the math on paper. Any business, if you're a credit repair business, or if you're thinking about it, or if you're doing it and you're sponsoring, do the math. Like literally, just do the math. And some customers will have, oh, why do I gotta have smart credit? Why can't I use Credit Karma? Well, you gotta give them the benefit. You gotta tell them the benefits of it. Well, number one, Credit Karma doesn't show Experian, and I think as of like a couple of months ago, anybody new on Credit Karma doesn't show Equifax anymore. They're only doing TransUnion. But if you had the Equifax before, they're still doing it. But it doesn't show Experian, is what I'm trying to say. So you got to give them the benefit of it. I haven't had too many pushbacks on it yet, so it's working out really well.
Do you also tell them about the insurance that comes with it, or any of the other features?
You know what? I haven't. That's a good idea that I should be doing that, but I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that it really keeps customers on long term, right? Because there will come a point where their credit is great, right? And it could be, like you said, 1 month, it could be 6 months, it could be whatever it is. But at that point, now they're going to be like, okay, well, my credit's great. I don't need this anymore. But this is at the point where you need it the most, because now you're more of a target for an identity theft thief. because now you have got great credit. You've got something to lose, so you've got to protect that. And so it sounds like you want to say something.
No, I was gonna say, like, I actually did have a customer tell me, he's like, you know what, I'm all cleaned up, I'm ready to cancel service, but I want to keep the smart credit. I'm like, all right, cool, go ahead, yeah, we'll keep you on the smart credit. You know what I mean? So it worked out for the both of us, definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's so we actually did a training with Steve Rieger about a month ago. And we're doing another one next week, so we'll be sending out for that as well, some emails. But basically the training was like a graduation program. So once your clients have now completed their process, now you graduate them. You can lower them down to the basic plan instead of having them on the premium one. You only need them on the premium because you get that 3B every single month. But after the credit's great, you don't need that 3B every month. You can go down to a lower fee, but then still keep all the features, like mainly, the $1 million insurance, and
I
then
like the
the money
3B
manager
though.
to
I
help
like the
manage the
3B
finances.
though. I really like the 3B. See, and I think that's where Smart Credit stands out over Credit Karma, because they have a 2B, new clients are 1B, where you're 3B. And most lenders pull from Experian. And it's funny because you can't do credit repair off of Credit Karma, because what if you work on two
Right.
bureaus and they go, oh, all your two bureaus are cleaned up, and then they go and buy a car and they pull Experian and we're like, oh, you have like 89 collections on here. You know what I mean? So exaggerating, but yeah. So you can't use Credit Karma as a source to clean up credit. It's just not going to work. You can use it to maybe show an increase, but that's really it. You can't use it as a tool.
Right, exactly. So Chris, we've got a little bit of time left. So those of you that are watching live, if you have any questions, start typing them into the chat box. While we're live is the only time you get to ask your questions. So do you have any advice that you want to give to any partners that are just starting out into their credit restoration journey? Any materials you say, hey, you got to read this book or you got to try this out? What would you say to somebody just
You know
starting
what?
out?
I'm always like, even though I've been doing this a long time, I'm always still researching, and researching. Like, there's a chick that I follow on YouTube. She gives good advice. The Credit Repair 609 guy, I even bought his package a couple of years ago. I even bought some of his templates, because I'll be honest with you, I don't like Credit Repair Cloud's templates. Um, I use a lot of some of his templates. Sometimes you gotta create your own templates, make it look more personable. It doesn't look so computerized. Um, just keep doing your research. You know what I mean? Do your research as much as you can, and that way you can stay ahead of the game, because credit repair is always evolving. These credit reporting agencies are always evolving. They're always changing it up on us, and we always got to be ahead of the game on them. That's the best advice that I can do, is just keep doing your research, and you know that's really up to say. I had a brain
Sounds
right
good.
now. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's see. Do we have any questions from the audience? All right. What is Smart Credit's partner support like? Chris, I'll let you answer that one.
I love partner support. What are some of the names? Who works in partner support that I always do? Is Ashley's one.
Ashley, there's Eileen, there's
Eileen,
Elaine,
Elaine.
Riza.
Rise is my favorite. I'm out loud. But yeah, Rise always calls me with my billing updates. No, partner support is amazing. I've never had a problem with partner support. So if you don't
Oh, thank
question
you.
it. They're super nice, super helpful. If you're even trying to enroll somebody and they can't pass the security questions or whatnot, you literally send them an email. They'll say attach the social and the ID, and it bypasses it. They're amazing.
There are some hardworking people, and we have really great people working here. I mean, I gotta tell you, it's such a joy to walk into the office every morning. Everybody's very friendly. We care about our partners. Our goals for the day is to take care of our partners, take care of our customers, and have a great time while doing so. And I think I think you guys really feel that on the other side, because it really is how it is here.
Definitely.
Let's see. We have a question.
Were you
Chris,
nervous?
were you nervous when you first started when reviewing the credit report since everything was so new?
Yes, I was. And that's where the credit boards, I think it's creditboards.com. It's one of them websites. Just go to Google and type in credit boards, where you can literally, they have a search bar and you can literally type in any company in there that's on a bureau, and they'll tell you ways that what they did that worked to remove that item.
Oh,
So
wow. Very
yeah,
cool.
so that's why. And then when I say research, I mean research. The internet's at your fingertips. And yes, I was super nervous when I started doing it in the beginning. And another thing too is there are a couple of collectors out there, and there's two of them. I won't mention their names because I don't know who's watching this, but you got to be very careful on what you're disputing, what companies, because they are suing right now. They are taking clients to court if you're disputing that item. One of them is based in Arizona, and they sue for apartments right now. So you got to either be transparent with your client and be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and dispute this. I may get it off, but keep in mind, if I do get it off, you may get a knock on the door from a process server. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. And if anybody's asking where the name came from, that's my middle name, by the way. It's Christopher Caine. So if you guys are wondering where Credit Caine came from.
So we have another question here. I'm catching the tail end. How have you maximized your smart credit partnership?
How have I maximized it? I guess I should maximize it more, like what you said about giving everybody the super benefits of like the insurance, the credit alerts, anytime there's a new inquiry. But I always give customers just the benefit of having all three scores. I call them FACO scores because we know they're not FICO scores. I call them FACO scores, which are the Vantage scores, which nobody uses, but it's a rough idea. It's an estimate. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that question.
No worries.
Sorry, Brianna. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Well, we'll be sending out the graduation training again. That one's a really great one because, like I was saying, it just basically shows you how to keep your customers still enrolled in smart credit much after the credit restoration process is done. And that way, it's just a great way to build passive income that just builds and builds and builds over time, and you're not doing anything for it. Let's see, we have another question from Anne.
How many hours do you work on your business? And to be honest with you, there'll be times where I'm here till 11, 12 at night working, sometimes 1 in the morning. And then I try to schedule at least one full weekend working. If I want my weekend free, I'll work through all the night through the whole week. It's just all about work-life balance at that point. So yeah, about 6 to 8 hours.
Wow.
Do I got any budget? I don't know.
Well, we can't tell it all, so you look great.
Thank you, appreciate that. 42 years old.
Wow. All right, I think those are all the questions for now. We're right almost at the 5:30 mark, so that's usually about the time we end. Chris, thank you so much for the information that you've shared with us today. I know our partners found it really useful. I found it really informative, especially some of those last tips that you gave us at the end. That was really great. So again, thank you for your time.
Educate your kids, educate your family, and we'll have a better country.
This is true. And so everyone, thank you so much for watching live. We'll be back next month at the last Tuesday of the month, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.